21 Savage had the streets movement that he kind of has been promoting these last.
Oh yeah, but I am the streets. I love the streets. I come from the streets. I ain't on all that. I ain't just like stop the violence. I've been on. I think people kind of confused. Yeah, it ain't got nothing to really do with toting a gun. Cause I ain't telling you not to tote your gun.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't gotta have your gun and engage in bull. Have it cause you love it and cause you want to protect yourself. That's why I donate money to those type of things. Cause I actually do kill.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just be like, I guess confused. I be throwing out mixed signals probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Like, you would never forget about where you came from. Is that how you see the street? Is it like you think people are saying it came from?
But I already got my own color.
You don't be paying attention to that.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
The narrative somebody pushing right now. I'm pushing my narrative.
Before NBA Youngboy became one of the most streamed rappers in the world, before the platinum records, the millions, the fan armies, and the endless controversy, there was Baton Rouge, a city that does not hand out mercy, a city that can harden a child long before he becomes a man. This was not the kind of place where dreams came wrapped in opportunity and applause. This was the kind of place where pain showed up early, where survival was its own education, and where a young boy could learn very quickly that nobody was coming to save him. Long before the world knew him as YoungBoy Never Broke Again, Kentrell DeSean Gaulden was just another kid trying to survive an environment that could break you before you ever had the chance to become anything at all, and the streets were already closing in.
Highest grossing rap tour on that pace. You plan on continuing the tour? Because the fans feeding for it.
I'm going out to another tour somewhere. I just want to take my time.
Yeah. Because it must be crazy going from not being on the road for so long to then, you know, being on tour for half the year last year. What was like the hardest part, you'd say, of being back on the road?
Having my kids with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place for kids.
The road. Why was it important for you to have them with you?
I wanted to naturally single what I do, who young boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my wife never got the experience where I had to go through everything I went through, what that was for.
Mm-hmm.
If I explained it right, I got a bad way of words.
You good. Listen, your words is carrying through.
Yeah.
So, more shows coming in the future. European leg potentially? You look, oh for real? You gonna hit Euro for the first time? I'm assuming you're gonna be touching Amsterdam.
For sure.
Can we expect that this year too?
I don't know.
Maybe.
His life started under pressure. He was born into hardship, raised in poverty, and forced to deal with instability before most children even understand what stability is supposed to look like. His father was sentenced to life in prison, leaving a hole that could not be easily explained away, and he was raised primarily by his grandmother, who became the central figure in his life. On top of that emotional burden, he also suffered serious physical pain as a child after breaking his neck, an injury that forced him to wear a head brace for years and left permanent scars on his forehead. Those scars would later become part of his image, but at the beginning they were just reminders that pain had already marked him early and life had only just begun.
It's really like therapy for me though.
Oh, this where you coming at? This what it about?
I sleep in my own.
Oh, what you be sleeping on the couch? Oh man, so you just sleep on the couch? You
No, because he take this shit serious.
yeah.
He said this therapy for me. See, other niggas just this is this my only way out. It's all about the money. This shit therapy for you. When it's therapy for you, that means you doing something that you mind, that you love doing. That's like a motherfucker that love playing basketball. Man, I had a rough day today. Let me go shoot around. When I'm doing that, I'm playing. Don't nothing matter no more. When he doing this shit, don't nothing matter no more. That's why he winning.
In many stories, the early struggle is where the sympathy builds before the breakthrough arrives. But NBA Youngboy's story did not move in a straight line from pain to promise. It got darker first. When his grandmother died, the one person holding together what little structure he had was suddenly gone, and with that loss came a deeper collapse. He ended up in a group home, moving through an environment that only added more trauma to the life he had already been given. It was a place where he has said he was bullied, abused, and forced to tap into a darker side of himself just to survive. For some kids, those years would become memories they try to forget. For YoungBoy, they became part of the fire that would later burn through every verse, and that fire was beginning to take shape. At just 14 years old, he bought a cheap microphone from Walmart and started recording music at home with his friend and collaborator OG33. There were no polished studios, no luxury sessions, no major cosigns waiting around the corner. The recordings were rough, low budget, and raw in every sense of the word, but sometimes raw is exactly what cuts through. There was pain in his voice, tension in his delivery, and a kind of urgency in his words that listeners could not fake and could not ignore. It did not sound industry ready, it sounded real, and in an era where audiences were becoming more drawn to truth than polish, that kind of authenticity could travel further than anybody expected, and Baton Rouge was beginning to notice. As his name grew around Baton Rouge, local artists began recognizing that something was building. He started earning attention from names in the Louisiana scene, and that kind of support matters because it tells the streets who is worth paying attention to. This was not manufactured buzz coming from some major label marketing plan. This was organic, it was local, it was earned. In Southern rap, credibility has always mattered, and YoungBoy was building his the hard way, through volume, emotion, and street presence. He was not waiting for the industry to discover him. He was forcing his way into the conversation, and the industry was getting closer. Then came the kind of twist that would define so much of his career, the moment where momentum and chaos collided. In 2016, while still barely out of his teenage years, YoungBoy was arrested and faced a serious attempted murder case tied to a drive-by shooting incident in Texas. For many rising artists, a case like that would have slammed the door shut forever. It would have frozen momentum and buried the dream. But rap does not always reward the same things other industries reward. Sometimes notoriety magnifies attention. Sometimes controversy adds myth. Sometimes danger becomes part of the brand. And in YoungBoy's case, the legal trouble did not erase the buzz. It intensified it, and the spotlight got even hotter. While sitting in jail awaiting the outcome of that case, YoungBoy did something that revealed just how instinctive he already was as an artist and as a brand. He kept the music alive. Earlier songs were reworked and released with better mastering, allowing his voice to travel further even while he was physically locked away. The machine did not stop because he understood, even that young, that attention must be fed. The audience has to keep hearing you. The world has to keep feeling your presence. It was a ruthless lesson in modern music business. If the artist cannot move, the catalog still can. And by the time he came home, his name had only grown larger. What made YoungBoy especially dangerous in the marketplace was not just that he had talent. A lot of artists have talent. What made him dangerous was his output. From 2015 to 2017, he dropped a staggering number of mixtapes, flooding the streets and the internet with content at a pace that most artists could not sustain. In the streaming era, that kind of volume matters. Every song becomes another opportunity for discovery. Every tape becomes another entry point into the artist's world. YoungBoy did not wait years between big moments. He kept dropping, kept feeding the audience, kept building momentum until his name became unavoidable. He was not just releasing music, he was building a catalog like a man trying to outrun the life behind him, and it was working. By the time he released his debut studio album, Until Death Call My Name, in 2018, YoungBoy was no longer just a promising artist from Louisiana. He was a force. The numbers started proving what the streets already knew. Songs charted, projects landed. His name became one of the most talked about among a new generation of rap listeners. And still, he kept going. More albums, more mixtapes, more singles, more features, more emotional confessions poured into the marketplace. He built one of the most relentless discographies of his era, stacking songs the way other artists stack excuses. And with every release, he strengthened the one thing that would make him rich, even when the industry doubted him: a fan base that refused to leave. As the streams exploded, the money started following. YoungBoy became one of the most heavily streamed artists on YouTube and Spotify, building a machine powered by by consistency and emotional connection. In a music economy where streaming rewards volume, replay value, and fan obsession, he had all three. Billions of streams do not happen by accident. They happen when an artist understands how to stay present in the lives of listeners. YoungBoy's songs became background music for pain, anger, heartbreak, and survival for millions of people. The same emotional intensity that once felt like a curse in his childhood had now become a business asset, and it was generating millions. But the story never stayed clean for long. Even as his music career exploded, legal trouble kept returning like a shadow that refused to loosen its grip. Charges, court dates, arrests, weapons allegations, associations, restrictions, and house arrest became recurring chapters in his life. The same chaos that had helped build the mystique around his name now threatened to limit how far the empire could go. For most major rap stars, touring is where fortunes truly explode. Touring is where music becomes cash in its most immediate form. And for long stretches, those legal issues prevented YoungBoy from fully maximizing that lane. That is part of what makes his rise so wild. He became a multi-millionaire while still carrying chains most stars would never survive. Even with those setbacks, he kept finding ways to build. One of the biggest reasons his fortune continued growing was because he was more than just a rapper dropping singles. He was a catalog machine. He released so much music, and his audience consumed it so consistently that the revenue kept stacking. Streams became a river, albums became assets, mixtapes became part of a growing vault of intellectual property that could continue generating money long after release day. In the modern music business, ownership and output matter. YoungBoy may have come from the chaos of Baton Rouge, but he ended up playing a game built on data, demand, and digital dominance, and he was winning it. His rise was also about more than music alone. As the money grew, so did the signs that he was trying to build something larger than a rap career. He launched the Never Broke Again imprint, extending his influence into the careers of other artists and creating another lane of business beyond his own recordings. That shift matters because it shows the mindset of someone thinking beyond momentary fame. Once an artist starts building a label, he is no longer just the performer. He becomes part of the infrastructure. He begins owning pieces of the machine instead of only feeding it. And when you come from nothing, ownership changes everything. Then there was the image of the estate in Utah, a massive property worth millions, modern, expansive, and far removed from the struggle he came out of in Baton Rouge. That house was more than a luxury purchase. It was symbolism. It represented distance from the life that had once cornered him. It showed that the boy who once had almost no security had reached a point where he could buy his own. Real estate is one of the oldest ways wealth starts turning into permanence. For YoungBoy, it was another signal that this was no longer just about rap success. This was about turning temporary fame into something tangible, and the transformation was becoming impossible to ignore. As his net worth climbed into the multi-millions, estimates placing him somewhere in the $10 million to $20 million range and possibly beyond, one thing became undeniable. Baton Rouge had produced not just another rapper, but a rap superstar. And unlike stars who are built through polished PR campaigns and careful industry planning, YoungBoy was built through raw connection. He rose because the audience believed him. He rose because his pain felt real. He rose because he never stopped feeding the machine. And when you combine authenticity, output, and obsession-level fan loyalty, the result is exactly what the world got: an artist too big to ignore.